Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name's Daniel, and I'm the Vegan Nazarite. All right, so another Shabbat, and today I'm going to share. We're number 26 of 52, so we're exactly halfway of the Torah readings for this year. I just want to add that why am I doing this? Well, Yeshua, I like a lot of people, when I started my walk on the road, I started reading the New Testament, and that's good in itself. But when I read, the more I read, the more there were things that I didn't understand. I didn't understand why Yeshua said the things that he said sometimes, why certain things happened. And it was really because I had basically not read the foundation. The Torah is the foundation. And, well, what religion was Yeshua? Some would say he was Jewish. I'm not so sure. Yeshua, firstly, was totally dedicated to Yah, or God, and his interactions with the priests and the rabbis of his time, there's some things that he really didn't like about them. He makes a point to let him know in certain terms what he thinks of some of their teachings sometimes. So I was always wondering why Yeshua would go against the religious authorities of his time. Well, and you know what? This took me a lifetime to figure out, so don't feel bad if it takes you a while. But I'll give you the shortcut. So Yeshua always promotes the law, but not the man-made traditions within the law. So what do I mean? Well, the priests and the rabbis often taught additions and would even remove from the Torah at some point. And every time Yeshua speaks to a Pharisee or a Sadducee, it's usually about that. And the third most important verses in the Bible, in my opinion, are Deuteronomy 4:2 and Deuteronomy 12:32. They both say exactly the same thing. They say that you will not add or remove to the law. Well, this is pretty much what Yeshua was teaching, what he was practicing, and what he was showing his apostles. He could have picked some Pharisees and scribes or whoever to be his apostles, but in the gospel we read that he already considered them full of what, you might ask? Well, they had already been promoting and convinced, I suppose, of their own teachings. And some of those teachings directly contradicted the Torah. So, long story short, that's why the Torah is important. If you read the New Testament and it doesn't make sense, pretty much all the answers are going to be in the Torah. And if you look for somewhere else to try to figure out what Yeshua says in the New Testament, well, guess what? You're probably going to make it up yourself, and that's the best way to go off the straight and narrow path. God is not a liar, and God is fair. So the Torah was always, and always will be, at least until we're with Yeshua and Father, enforced. Maybe not enforced, but it's always relevant. That's where sin is defined. That's where uh, the laws of business, pretty much everything is detailed in there. And the prophets, well, whenever Israel went astray, the prophets, well, their job, just like Jeremiah says, is to bring them back to the old path. Well, the oldest path of all, at least in the written Torah, is the law of Moses. So that's why it's important. And that's why I'm taking a whole year to do this, to read the Torah. One day I'll be dead. And if all I can leave behind is a legacy of me promoting the Torah and saying how important it is, well, at least I will be a good witness. And when it comes time for judgment, I'll be able to say to Yeshua, whoever is judging me, that I promoted and taught pretty much the same things that Yeshua taught. So that's the reason. Today we're going back to Leviticus. We're in the third reading in Leviticus. Last week was all about an elaboration on some of the sacrificial offerings. We don't have the temple right now, but still important, because if ever the temple is built on earth again and it's accepted by Father or the Creator, well, no one can add and remove to the law. So everything will have to be done just like Moses prescribed. So that said, let's start. Today we're reading Shemini, which is going to be Leviticus 9:1 to 11:47. And the prophets today is 2 Samuel 6:1 to 7:17. So let's start. We switch to the Tanakh here. There we go. Leviticus chapter 9. And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his son and the elders of Israel, and he said unto Aaron, Take thee a bull calf for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering without blemish, and offer them before the Lord. And unto the children of Israel thou shalt speak, saying, Take ye a he-goat for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year without blemish, for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for peace offerings to sacrifice before the Lord, and a meal offering mingled with oil, for today the Lord appeareth unto you. And they brought that which Moses commanded before the tent of meeting, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commanded that ye should do, that the glory of the Lord may appear unto you. And Moses said unto Aaron, Draw near unto the altar, and offer thy sin offering and thy burnt offering, and make atonement for thyself and for the people, and present the offering of the people, and make atonement for them, as the Lord commanded. So Aaron drew near unto the altar, slew the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron presented the blood unto him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put it in the horns of the altar, and poured out the blood at the base of the altar. But the fat, the kidneys, and the lobe of the liver of the sin offering he made smoke upon the altar, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the flesh and the skin were burnt with fire without the camp. And he slew the burnt offering, and Aaron's sons delivered unto him the blood, and he dashed it against the altar round about. And they delivered the burnt offering unto him, piece by piece, and the head, and he made them smoke upon the altar. And he washed the inwards and the legs, and made them smoke upon the burnt offering on the altar. And the people's offering was presented, and he took the goat of the sin offering, which was for the people, and slew it, and offered it for sin as the first. And the burnt offering was presented, and he offered it according to the ordinance. And the meal offering was presented, and he filled his hand therefrom, and made it smoke upon the altar, beside the burnt offering of the morning. He slew also the ox and the ram, the sacrifice of peace offerings, which was for the people, and Aaron's sons delivered unto him the blood, and he dashed it against the altar round about. And the fat of the ox and of the ram, the fat tail, and that which covereth the inwards, and the kidneys, and the lobe of the liver. And they put the fat upon the breast, and he made the fat smoke upon the altar. And the breast and the right thigh Aaron waved for a wave offering before the Lord, as Moses commanded. And Aaron lifted up his hands towards the people and blessed them. And he came down from offering the sin offering and the burnt offering and the peace offerings. And Moses and Aaron went into the tent of meeting and came out and blessed the people. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the people. And there came forth fire from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat. And when all the people saw it, they shouted and fell to their faces. Chapter 10. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took each of them his censer, and put fire therein, and laid incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them. And there came forth fire from before the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses unto Aaron, This is it that the Lord spoke, saying, Through them are nigh unto me, until I will be sanctified, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. And Moses called Mishael and Elephazan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto him, Draw near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they drew near and carried them in their tunics out of their camp, as Moses had said. And Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar, his sons, Let not the hair of your heads go loose, neither tend your clothes that you die not, and that he be not wroth with all the congregation, but let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord hath kindled. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tent of meeting, lest you die, for the anointing oil of the Lord is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. And the Lord spoke unto Aaron, saying, Drink no wine or strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when you go into the tent of meeting, that you die not. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, and that you may put difference between the holy and the common, and between the unclean and the clean, and that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. And Moses spoke to Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons that were left, Take the meal offering that remaineth of the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without leaven besides the altar, for it is most holy. And you shall eat it in a holy place, because it is thy due and thy sons' due of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. For so I am commanded. And the breast of waving and the thigh of heaving shall you eat in a clean place, thou and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, or they are given as thy due and thy sons' due out of the sacrifices of the peace offerings of the children of Israel. The thigh of heaving and the breast of waving shall they bring with the offerings of the fat made by fire, to wave it for a peace offering before the Lord. And it shall be thine and thy sons with thee as a dew forever, as the Lord hath commanded. And Moses diligently inquired for the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and with Ithamar, the sons of Aaron that were left, saying, Wherefore have you not eaten of the sin offering in the place of the sanctuary, seeing that it is most holy? And he hath given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord. Behold, the blood of it was not brought into the sanctuary within. You should certainly have eaten it within the sanctuary, as I commanded. And Aaron spoke unto Moses, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offerings before the Lord, and they have befallen me such things as these. And if I had eaten of the sin offering today, would it have been well-pleasing in the sight of the Lord? And when Moses heard that, it was well-pleasing in his sight. Chapter 11. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the living things which you may eat among the beasts that are in the earth. Whatever parteth the hoof, and is wholly cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud, among the beasts that you may eat. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat of them that only chew the cud, nor of them that only part of the hoof. The camel, because he cheweth the cud, but parteth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. And the rock badger, because he cheweth the cud, but parteth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. And the hare, because she cheweth the cud, but parteth not the hoof, she is unclean to you. And the swine, because he parted the hoof, and is clean cloven-footed, but cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh you shall not eat, and of their carcasses you shall not touch, they are unclean to you. These you may eat out of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them may you eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that swarmeth in the waters, and of all the living creatures that are in the waters, they are a detestable thing to you, and they shall be a detestable thing unto you. You shall not eat their flesh, and their carcasses you shall have in detestation. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that is a detestable thing unto you. And these you shall not have in detestation among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are a detestable thing. The great vulture, and the bearded vulture, and the osprey, and the kite, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kinds, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the sea mew, and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, the cormorant, and the great owl, and the horned owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, and the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. All winged, swarming things that go upon all fours are a detestable thing unto you. Yet these may you eat of all winged, swarming things that go upon all fours, which have jointed legs above their feet, wherewith to leap upon the earth. Even these you may eat, the locust after its kind, and the bald locust after its kinds, and the cricket after its kinds, and the grasshopper after its kinds. But all winged swarming things which have 4 feet are a detestable thing unto you. And by these you shall become unclean. Whosoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean until even, And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. Every beast which parteth the hoof, but is not cloven footed, nor cheweth the cud, is unclean to you. Every one that touches them shall be unclean. And whatsoever goeth upon its paws, among all beasts that go on all fours, they are unclean to you. Whosoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. They are unclean to you. And these are they which are unclean unto you among the swarming things that swarm upon the earth: the weasel, the mouse, the great lizard after its kinds, the gecko, the land crocodile, and the lizard, and the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are they which are unclean to you among all that swarm. Whosoever doeth touch them, when they are dead, shall be unclean until the even. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doeth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood, raiment, skin, or sack, whatever vessels it be, wherewith any work is done, it must be put into the water, and it shall be unclean until the even. Then it shall be clean. And every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falleth, whatsoever in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. All food therein which may be eaten, that on which water cometh, shall be unclean. All drink in every such vessel that may be drunk shall be unclean. And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether the oven or range for pots, it shall be broken in pieces, they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. Nevertheless, a fountain or a cistern wherein there's a gathering of water shall be clean. But he who touches their carcass shall be unclean. And if aught of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed which is to be sown, it is clean. But if water be upon the seed, and aught of their carcass fall thereon, it is unclean to you. And if any beast of which you may eat die, he that touches the carcass thereof shall be unclean until even. And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. And every swarming thing that swarmeth upon the earth is a detestable thing. It shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all fours, or whatsoever hath many feet, even all swarming things that are swarm upon the earth, them you shall not eat, for they are a detestable thing. You shall not make yourselves detestable with any swarming thing that swarmeth, neither shall you make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. For I am the Lord your God. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of swarming thing that moveth upon the earth. For I am the Lord that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of the living creatures, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that swarmeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the clean and the unclean, between the living thing that may be eaten and the living thing that may not be eaten. So that completes our Torah reading for today. So of note here, um, for not following Moses' instructions, we read that Aaron's sons get consumed by the fire and killed. Well, again, Deuteronomy 12:32 says that we're not to add to remove to the law. So just do what is commanded and just do what is commanded not to do. And that's really all there is to it about the Torah. In the New Testament, Paul says that the pagans sacrificed to demons. Well, absolutely. If there's only one God and there's only one creator and all these made up deities are receiving sacrifices, well, we know that there is only one God. So absolutely. If you sacrifice to anybody other than Yahweh, guess what? You're not sacrificing according to the law, and you are sacrificing to demons. If there's no other entities out there, then that can be the only logical choice. Okay, let's move on to 2 Samuels. Let me get there. 2 Samuel, and we're going to be reading 6:1 to 7:17. 6:1. 2 Samuel chapter 6. And David again gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal Judah to bring up from thence the ark of God, whereupon is called the name, even the name of the Lord of hosts that sit upon the cherubim. And they set the ark of God upon a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab. Excuse me. That was in the hill, and Uzzah and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, drove the new cart. And they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was in the hill, with the ark of God, and Ahio went before the ark. And David and all the ark of Israel played before the Lord with all manner of instruments made of cypress wood, and with harps, and with psalm trees, and with timbrels, and with the sistra, and with the cymbals. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah put forth his hand on the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God smote him there for his error, and he died by the ark of God. And David was displeased because the Lord had broken forth upon Uzzah. And the place was called Perez Uzzah unto this day. And David was afraid of the Lord that day, and he said, how shall the ark of the Lord come unto me? So David would not remove the ark of the Lord unto him into the city of David. But David carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his house. And it was told King David, saying, the Lord hath blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that pertaineth unto him because of the ark of God. And David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom in the city of David into the city of David with joy. And it was so that when they bore the ark of the Lord had gone 6 places, he sacrificed an ox fatling. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, and David was girdled with a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the horn. And it was so, as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked out at the window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of the Lord and set it in its place in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And when David had made an end of the offering of the burnt offerings and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, even among the whole multitude of Israel, both to men and women, to everyone a cake of bread and a cake made in a pan and a sweet cake. And all the people departed, every one to his house. And David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How did the king of Israel get himself honored today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovered himself?" And David said unto Michal, "Before the Lord, who chose me above thy father and above all his house, to appoint me prince over the people of the Lord, over Israel, before the Lord will I make merry. And I will be yet more vile than this, and I will be base in mine own sight, and with the handmaids whom thou hast spoken of, with them I will get the honor. Get me the honor." And Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child unto the day of her death. 7:17. Okay. And it came to pass, when the king dwelt in his house, and the Lord had given him rest from all his enemies round about, that the king said unto Nathan the prophet, "See now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth within curtains." And Nathan said to the king, "Go do all that is in thy heart, for the Lord is with thee." And it came to pass the same night that the word of the Lord came into Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, thus says the Lord, shalt thou build me a house for me to dwell in? For I have not dwelt in a house since the day that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day. But I've walked in a tent and in a tabernacle, in all places wherein I have walked among the children of Israel. Spoke I a word with any of the tribe of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, Why have you not built me a house of cedar? Now therefore, thus shalt say unto my servant David, Thus says the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, that thou shouldest be prince over my people, over Israel. And I have been with thee whichsoever thou didst go, and I have cut off all my enemies from before thee, and I will make thee a great name, like unto the name of the great ones that are in the earth. And I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell there in their own place, and be disquieted no more. Neither shall the children of the wickedness afflict them any more as at first, even from the day that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and I will cause thee to rest from all thine enemies. Moreover, the Lord telleth thee that the Lord will make thee a house. When thy days are fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up my seed after thee, that shall proceed out of thy body, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house for my name. I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me for a son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I bore away before thee. And thy house and thy kingdom shall be made sure forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. According to all these words and according to all his visions, so did Nathan speak unto David. Okay. So in the second reading, we read of Yah uh, giving the promise to David, basically that the ark was going to be put away in the temple once he's passed away, and also promises him that uh, the scepter of Judah, or the lineage per se of Israel, uh, will be from David. And we all know, well, most of us know, that Yeshua is also from the tribe of David, which is tribe of Judah. Um, Anyhow, I want to bless everybody today to have a wonderful Sabbath, and may you have a wonderful week coming up ahead. Again, my name is Daniel, and I'm the Vegan Nazarite, signing off for another Sabbath day reading. Have a good week and a blessed Sabbath day. Bye-bye.